Hi everyone, today we're going to have a look at this case made in Korea, which is known as the Wizmax ML420 BTF. I'd like to thank Wizmax to have provided this case for me to share with everyone. Starting off with the exterior, over at this side you will see a very big tempered glass which is tinted black. Right at the front you have a very unique design of all the rectangular pieces, and all this are mesh which will provide more air intake. Nice. And over at this end where you have the whole panel black, this is made of metal, and with this section, this is the ventilator area where it draws air in or to exhaust air out. At the rear, this is where you see on the top left, this is a rear I/O cutout for your motherboard rear I/O. And on my right, this is meant for you to place either a 120mm or a 140mm fans for exhaust of hot air. There are a total of 8 expansion slots with all ventilated holes on the PCIe bracket itself, and more ventilator holes for more hot air to dissipate off from the case. And right at the bottom, this is where the PSU is mounted, and this strap is removable by 2 thumb screws. All is needed, see, remove this, place your PSU and you solder it back. And right at the bottom you have a dust filter. In fact, it stretches all the way. Nice touch. Now, as for the measurement of the case, the width, or shall I say depth, is at 522mm, and the height is at 522mm. In fact, it's a square piece. And the gap is at 20mm. And as for the width, it's at 246mm. Now, in order to remove off the glass panel, all is needed is just to remove this thumb screw and make sure you hold on to this latch over here, or should I say a lever where you can pull it out and support at the front. Then you pull it off. See, it's quite easy. Now, as for the front, there is a gap below. All is needed is just to pull. See, and it's off. And you expose the fan railings over here. Now, as for the side, same function as the front, whereby you remove off this thumb screw, hold on to this lever, pull it towards you, and to remove. Last but not least, the top, in fact, is toolless. You just grab at the top and pull. See? This is the top of the case where you have all the I/O socket over here, where you are provided with LED. Yes, you can control ARGB on the fans itself. There is a hub which I will show you later, a Type-C connector, a microphone jack, a headphone jack, 2 USB 3.0 socket. Then this is the reset button and the power switch. Now, of course, this comes with these cables over here. Now, all this is needed to plug to your motherboard in order for you to have control on all this socket over here. Starting off with the Type-C, you will need to connect this to your motherboard. Then followed by the microphone and headphone jack, where you see that there is this audio. So this is meant for you to plug to your motherboard to control this too. Then followed by your USB Type A port, which is this. Again, plug it to your motherboard. And for the power and reset switch, you will have a plug which says front panel. Plug this to your motherboard front I/O. Now, as I have mentioned that this is removable, oops, and this will expose the tray, and this tray is removable. As mentioned to you, the top section, you can remove the tray, see? But you will need to remove all 4 screws, which is here, 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 and here, which I already have removed the 4 screws. Kindly do not loose these 4 screws. Once you've done that, right, you can just lift this up. See? I like how the way they design it as it's a through hole, and these are the slots for the 120mm, and this is for the 140mm. And there are true cutouts over here, and these are rounded. Nice touch. And when you place it back, right, make sure that facing the I/O itself, the top I/O, just place it this way. Oops. And to put it down, and to fasten with the 4 screws. This is the front, where this tray is removable too. All is needed is just to remove the thumb screws, which I removed 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top. Now when you're removing the thumb screws, right, make sure you hold on to the tray. If not, it will just fall out. See? And again, a very nice cutout, which is meant for your 120mm and your 140mm. Now something I'd like to say is that I hope that they have designed the thumb screws to be captive on the tray, so that this will not drop off. And to mount this back, right, I hope there is some catch to align to the front, and it will not just, just fall off. In fact, you have this tool to hold on to the tray. It's not so bad, but I'll still prefer that there's some catch at the bottom to hold on the tray. So just align this tool to this notch over here. Then in order to fasten this, right, place these thumb screws. There are a total of 4, 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. This is how the interior looks like. It is very, very spacious, based on the fact that this is a very huge case. Now, starting off with the motherboard arrangement, you can mount an eATX all the way to ITX, but I would to advise either to mount an ATX or MATX. And also this cutouts, right, that you can see over here, these are meant for your BTF motherboard. If you choose to use MATX BTF, you can remove this too, and make sure you remove all the rubber grommets so that you can place the motherboard BTF on it. And over at the bottom section, right, again you can remove off this too, where you can fit a ATX BTF. Now there are total of 9 cutouts starting from the top, 1, 2, and the rest of the 7s are all with rubber grommets, which is here, 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 at the bottom too, and at this area over here. Now as for fan arrangement, at the top you'll be able to mount 3x140mm fans or 3x120mm fans. At the side, this you'll be able to mount 3x140mm fans or 3x120mm fans. Same goes to the front, which is 340mm fans or 320mm fans. At the bottom section over here, at the top section, this two, you'll be able to mount 120mm fans. At the bottom, you'll be able to mount either a 120mm fan or a 140mm fan. As for liquid AIO placement, be the top, the side, at the front, you can mount 240, 280, or even 360. Exceptional on the side and the front, you can place 420. And at the rear, you can place either a 120 or a 140 liquid AIO. At the bottom section here on the front right, whereby this is actually the front. Now, if you do not want to place any fans over here, right, you see these holes over here? You can place one 2.5 inch SSD or one 3.5 inch hard disk. You can even place a SSD at the side over here. And over at this end over here, where I mentioned that you can place 220mm fans, right? If you do not mount the fans, there are cutouts, which is this, inclusive of this. You can mount two 2.5 inch SSD. Now I deliberately make use of this motherboard, which is the Z790 Maximus Heroes coming from ASUS. it has a very thick VRM at the side and at the back. And you might be wondering, am I able to mount a Arctic Liquid Freezer 2 or 3 at the top, which is 280? Well, see, I'm able to mount. This is a 280. But take a look. This is fortunate that the Maximus Hero, right, the heatsink at the side is shortened, as in like it goes in rather than the whole full length of the board. If this is of the full length, right, imagine it's actually of the full length, you will definitely not able to mount the 280 Liquid Freezer 2 or 3. So I would advise at the top right, on the safe side, only mount a Liquid Freezer 2 or 3 360. Now, based on paper spec, yes, I told you that the side and the front you can mount a 420 liquid cooler. Be it whether it's a normal, which has a thickness of 55mm, or the Liquid Freezer 2 or 3 that has a 65mm, you can mount a 420, not an issue. If you choose to mount this Liquid Freezer 2 or 3 420 right at the front, you'll be able to mount a full length card, not an issue. This is a TUF 4090, which has a total length of 350. As you can see, there are plenty of clearance over here. So imagine that you mounted the Liquid Freezer 2 or 3 420, right? You still got ample space. By the way, the length clearance on this case, right, is at 450, which check out correct, which is around here. Now, the only thing that I find out is that if you want to mount long graphic card, right, you need to take note on this. Be it whether it's a 420 or a 360, be it whether is it a normal that has a 55mm thickness or the Liquid Freezers which has 65mm, you can't mount at the side at all if you want to have a long graphic card. Reason being, right, there will be obstacle at this point here, right, you will hit the fans and you will not be able to slot the chip over here to your PCIe slot, unless your graphic card length, right, is not longer than 280, which is here. Then you'll be able to slot in. Then you'll be able to mount your liquid AIO at the side, be it 420 or 360. So do take note, if you want to mount the liquid cooler at the side, right, your card must not exceed 280. Now, coming to a common question whereby, okay, you have mounted the card and you are worried about the 12V high power connector. Do you have clearance before you hit the side panel? Well, if your card is of height 150, meaning to say from the motherboard to here, it's at 150, no problem. You have 20mm of clearance. If you are placing a 160 height, then you only left with 10. And with that 10, right, I don't think you can bend the cables nicely. Probably you will need a right angle, the 90-degree angle kind of connector. But I would say kindly keep it at 150. Okay, do check out on your card. And one best part is that if you clip it over here, right, see this grommet here? It sits nicely. Nice top. Well done. Now, besides this, right, if you notice in the case, you have these two anti-sag support bracket. In fact, it's already mounted there. So there are two. This is meant for two graphic cards where you mount one over here and mount one over here. So this is also sweepable. Just unscrew the thumb screws. See? You can just push and to support, and to use the thumb screws to lock it. Same goes to the bottom. Nice touch. Now, as for air cooler, based on the fact that I measured from the motherboard all the way to the side panel, right, is 180. And on paper spec, your air cooler should not exceed 180. But a safer measurement, right, or should I say safer height, is at 170. Do not go beyond 170, because sometimes you need to shuffle your fans if it hits the rear, right. For air cooler, right, when the fan hit the rear, right, you need to move the fans up. So I'll advise not to go beyond 170 millimeter thickness for the air cooler. This is the other side of the panel where it shows you all the cable management area. Now on my left, this is the tray where I show you at the front I mount the liquid AIO. You might be thinking, can I remove off the fans of the radiator and to place it at the back so that I can plug my graphic card in with the radiator at the side? The reason is, no, you can't mount any fans over here. Reason being, right, this tray is flush to the panel, so we can't do that. And there's a reason why this tray here is flush to the panel, cause the ventilator area is close to it, so that it will, it will just concentrate on pulling air in or to pushing air out. So that's the reason why. Now, one thing good about this cable management area, whereby I enjoy what I'm seeing, good innovation, there are only 2 cable tie points at the bottom. The rest you do not have it. Instead, they have provided you with clips. See? I can just pull the cable out, and this is a clip. And there are total of 3 over here and 3 at the back. Nice touch. Well done. I like this kind of innovation. And as for this 2 Velcro stripe for you to hold your 24-pin cable or your, the front connectors and such, where you place the PSU at the bottom. Speaking about the PSU, you can mount up to 220, no problem. This is where the location is at 220. So be it 150, 160, 200, 220, you can mount. Full length ATX power supply, where you have tons of gap over here to do your cable management with all the modular cables. Nice touch. Now at the top section here, right, where you have these 2 caddy, these 2 are removable by thumb screw. See, one over here, one over here. Now, why do you need to remove all this caddy? You might be asking. If you see carefully, right, there are holes over here. Same goes to here. Now, you can mount 2 2.5-inch SSD, okay, and to mount it back, or 1 3.25-inch hard disk. So you can just plug it back and to fasten with the thumb screw. Same goes to the bottom at this section. Total of 2 SSD, not an issue, or even a 1 3.5-inch hard disk. Then you just place it back. Now, earlier on I mentioned at the front where you are able to mount MATX BTF and ATX BTF. For MATX BTF, remove off this bracket as is held by screws. I've already taken off the screws. Do not lose it. So as written down here, right, is MATX. So you can mount your MATX BTF with all the connector protruding out over here. But do note that you will need to take out the grommets too in order to fit the BTF motherboard. And when you are doing that, right, you can't use this caddy at all because it will hit the caddy. So you got to sacrifice 2 SSD or 1 3.5-inch hard disk. Either way. Same goes to the ATX BTF. Okay, same sequence as you remove this, right, it will become ATX BTF. Besides the main case, it does provide you with an instruction manual showing you how to do the mounting, dismounting, or should I say removal of the panels, inclusive of the specification, and a very nice accessory box where all these are labeled nicely. Just to show you what's inside, see, all that you need. And besides this, right, inside this accessory box, you have this logo over here, which say Wizmax. This is meant for you to paste this logo at the front case where there is this section, right? You can put this on. But if you choose not to place it, it's all up to you. Right at the top, still in the cable management area, where this is in fact the motherboard cutout. At the top, you have this hub, which is meant for your fans and ARGB. Now there are a total of 5 connection points for your fan 4-pin PWM connector and 5 ARGB connection points to control your ARGB on your fan blades. And over on the left, right, at the top where you have this connector over here, okay, probably I start with the LED. Now this LED 2-pin switch is in fact the button that is right at the top where it says LED, which I will show you later, where you can toggle and to cycle the ARGB effect on your fan blades. Else for the top where you have this connector over here, right, there are 2 connectors which you will need to plug to your motherboard. Okay, now if you intend to make use of the LED switch on the top I/O panel, right, to control the ARGB, right, you need not have to plug this 3-pin 5V ARGB to your motherboard. But if you intend to make use of your motherboard ARGB utility, right, there is a method where you bypass, when you press the LED button, right, you bypass this hub and it will just take the signal, or should I say the command of the ARGB effect from your motherboard ARGB utility. Next will be this 4-pin PWM fan connector. This is for you to plug to your motherboard fan header. So do take note that whichever fan header, let's say for example you plug this to system fan, okay, or chassis fan, whatever instruction from the system fan, right, it will control all these 5 fans over here. You can't say that to set it individually, you can't. And this hub you will require to power up using this SATA connector, where this is connected to draw power from your PSU. Well, as you can see, these fans over here, right, the front 3 fans and the back fans, these are all 140mm fans, which are pre-installed in this case, and it does have ARGB. And the fan strength, my goodness, is, see, this is how strong the fans are, and yet it's not noisy, which is one thing good. Now, as mentioned to you, right, at the top there is a LED button. So if you are to toggle the LED buttons, right, see, you will just switch according to the ARGB effect. And if I want to toggle to the motherboard, which over here, okay, assuming this is actually the motherboard, all you need to do is just to hold on the LED switch till it turns and it goes to here. This is how you control it, see, assuming this is actually the motherboard. And if you want to off the ARGB totally, just hold on the LED switch at the top, blink once, blink twice, let go. Let go of the switch, and this is all. And turn it back on, right, you just need to press the LED switch again. See, it's back on. Then you can cycle as what you want. Okay, I'm actually toggling at the top. And if you want to toggle to your motherboard, just hold on it, hold on the switch, blink once, and you'll go to your motherboard control. What are my thoughts about this Wizmax ML420 BTF case? The first impression when I look at it, it's big. Yep, it's a very big case, and it's of a good cost based on the fact that it's so roomy that you can fiddle tons of things inside. And not only that, when I feel the metal, the attention to details of what they have done, they have curved all the metal areas, so leaving no sharp edges where I can't even cut my fingers. See, I'm gliding it all over the shot. And best part is that it's very sturdy. See, it doesn't flake much. And best part, besides being roomy, right, they not only cater for standard ATX or EATX, or should I say standard motherboard, they have catered on both MATX and ATX BTF motherboards. On top of which, this support bracket is greatly appreciated. I mean, this can be removed, but if you were to use a ATX motherboard, right, you can make use of this. And a good function to prevent your heavy graphic card, right, to sag. And besides this, right, as I've shown you, the 4 pre-installed fans, all these are 140mm fans, which are all ARGB. To me, it's not loud. It rather just go a subtle hum, based on the fact that there are tons of air drawing air in the case and out the case, based on the fact that these are all 140mm fans. You don't have to ramp up that high to run. And besides this, right, the cutouts on the tray itself, like the top, the side, the front, all these are like this, through hole. Wonderful. So this will definitely be good in airflow. And I believe that whatever high-end processor that you throw inside, right, or high-end graphic cards, right, not an issue. The cooling will be like simple for this, or should I say, it's an easy task for this case. Now, besides this, right, just wanted to mention that right at the front, I hope that they will do something about the side tray, probably indent further in. Okay, have the case wider, just about, I should say, 10mm. Reason being, right, if you mount the liquid AL at the side, be it 420 or 360, right, I can't mount my graphic card, I mean long graphic card, unless it's stated at the length as mentioned, 280. Or you can place the graphic card vertically. Speaking of which, yes, you can place vertical mount on this case based on the fact that the PCI brackets, right, these are all without a pillar in between. So it's actually a true hole when you remove off the brackets. So you can do that. Now moving to the back, right, okay, I know this is very messy, but you know, still it's pretty neat. I forgot to mention that looking at the fan, right, you have holders over here. Nice touch, which goes to your hub. And best part is all these holders over here, there are a total of 6. Nicely done. Attention to details. Alright, hope you guys have actually enjoyed what I've shared with you. And I'd like to thank Wizmax to have provided this case for me to share with you guys. And for those of you actually new to my channel, welcome to my channel. If you like my content, do remember to subscribe and to click on the notification bell button. Till then, take care, goodbye, see ya.